And we actually know when we're getting the game back. That the day is July 19th, unless you want to buy the deluxe edition or the bundle with Madden. And then that day is July 16th. So if my son would like to know when I am stealing his PlayStation, that's the day. Probably the night before. Got to get it set up in my office. Probably a decent download time here. But that's the day. It's Friday. We decided to run back what we did last Friday because it was so much fun. It's a Philip Dukes Friday. You know him. You love him. Dukes the Scoop. Host of the 5-Star Flex on the On3 Recruits channel. If you're not already subscribed, if you're not hitting that like button, hitting that thumbs up every single time you see this man's face on your screen, you're doing it wrong. What's up, Dukes?
Andy, what's up, man? How you doing?
I am happy. I am happy because I have been waiting for this video. So I'm old. We've established this. You and I talked about this last week. We're both old. And so I was among the first people playing the EA Sports college football game. Like it came out when we were in college, late high school, in college. And like I remember in my apartment in college having tournaments that would last all night. Like I would play as South Carolina. They had just added the option pitch on the trigger button. So Anthony Wright, who was a really good runner, okay passer, was great running the option. Right. Not in real life. Probably could have been in real life, but I'm sure he didn't want to do it in real life. But he was great on the game doing it. So I am so excited about what it's going to look like when I am having General Booty pilot the ULM Warhawks to a national title.
Man, you know, the biggest thing for me is like, I started out on the PlayStation 2. And so back then, Texas was the squad, right? Then, and so the way that I used to play that option pitch was with Quentin Jammer. His tackling ability on that game was so crazy. Okay, so then I got into when we went Gen 3. I saw that development. I saw how much the game changed in like 2009. West Virginia was my squad. I'm going crazy. Pat White, Steve Slayton, and now what interests me the most is to see NCAA football almost skip a generation for me and go straight to P5, PlayStation 5, or I think the Xbox is the Xbox, whatever the newest Xbox is.
The new Xbox, yeah, and it's not going to be on PC. Right. If you don't know who Matt Brown is, Matt's a guy who worked for SB Nation. He now covers. He does a newsletter. He covers the business of college sports. So he's normally talking about like realignment or how they pay the players, but he got, because of he's really good at sending out Freedom of Information Act requests, he got tons of information about this game early on because he was like, okay, send me copies of whatever assets you sent to EA Sports. And then he's been doing this for a couple of years. So like when they sent, here's our fight song and here's a recording of it, he'd get the answer to his request would say, okay, Texas has sent the fight song to EA Sports. So he kind of all along has been telling us what's going to happen. And yeah, he's been on this for a while, but he asked why it's not going to be on PC. And apparently it's so much kind of continuous maintenance if you're going to have it on PC. So that's why it'll be on PlayStation. It'll be on Xbox. And I realize, Dukes, there's probably a portion of the audience that's like, who cares about this? But this is, I don't know. I think it's probably over 75% of the audience of this show is going to buy this game and play this game.
Yeah, easily. And then for the new college football fans who came up, who haven't had the opportunity to play this game, you got to think this game hasn't been out since 2014. My son was born in 2013. From the time he started playing video games, he's always wanted to play a college football game. Mm-hmm. He has been over the moon about this information. If he's having a bad day or not the best day, all I have to do is show him this cover and say this summer, and he perks up instantly. So I don't, even for us, the nostalgia factor for the older guys, but I think it's doubly as important for the younger guys who haven't even had the chance to experience those all-night games of NCAA football.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is, like, so my son's 14. He's been playing Madden for a while, and like he's an August birthday, so he gets Madden every year on his birthday. It's just part of the deal, and he loves playing Madden, but he lives in a college town in the South. Like, college football is way bigger where we live than the NFL. And it's all anybody talks about at his school. It's all he and the boys talk about. Like they talk about NFL too, but they talk a lot more about college football. So like when they get a chance to play as these guys, when they get a chance to play, like, so we live in Gainesville. So all these boys want to play as the Gators. They want to be the ones that bring the Gators back to championship level. And I'm sure it's the same thing if you live in Birmingham, if you live in Jackson, Mississippi, if you live in Atlanta. Like, that's what you want to do. You have your team and you want to bring that team to glory yourself. But that's the thing I like about it. And maybe because this is what I've been writing about the whole time and pushing for the whole time. Like, I always hated it. I knew that was Pat White, but it wasn't really Pat White. Like,
Yeah,
it will be Travis Hunter. Like, when you're playing as Colorado, that's Travis Hunter.
I think that's awesome. And think about it, like, the only time we really had to go through that in our generation outside of the college football game was to create a player, Jordan 99. And you knew it was Jordan, but it never felt the same when you dunked with 99 on the Bulls. And it's the same thing for college football. It just didn't feel the same. We knew, but let's say you were playing more of a novice player who may not have known who your star player was that you found. There may be a third string guy on the bench that you find that absolutely like wreaks havoc for you, but all he gets to be for that guy who doesn't know him is player 14. Well, now those guys get the notoriety for being guys who may not be the major guys in college football, but now when they see a specific skill set, stuff like what I like to do, I go through every roster and find the fastest guy. I always want to find the fastest running back, and I always want to find the fastest receiver. That creates notoriety for these guys, and I think it's way overdue. And it's just an exciting time, especially when you think about college football junkies like us.
Anthony Schwartz would have been unstoppable in this game.
Ooh, Schwartz would have been insane.
That's the thing. Like, guys who are better in the game than maybe in real life, like, they are going to become somebody's favorite player. And it might be some kid who lives in New Mexico might have an Auburn guy as his favorite player because that's the guy he dominates with. And, you know, we all remember, like, I'm old enough to remember Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl, like the unstoppable Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. But it's so niche in college. Like, you'll find some, like you said, you'll go through the rosters and you're just looking for 99 speed. Mm-hmm. And there will be guys with 99 speed, and you're going to try them out. And there's going to be one, like, there'll be one guy, and the first time you run like an end around jet sweep with him, you're going to score, and you're like, that's my guy.
Right.
And it won't matter if he gets tackled for a 4-yard loss every other time because he scored on the first play. That's your guy.
Absolutely. You need that one. And I think, too, for guys, like, we don't watch a lot of West Coast football. So I think a really good player that's going to kind of pop in this game is going to be Jaden Ott from Cal.
Yes.
I think like in this game is built for him. He breaks a lot of tackles. He can get to his top speed fast. He can catch the ball. He's one of those guys that you could take your offense. And I wish Sam Jackson would have still been there, the quarterback from last year from Cal who transferred to Auburn as a wide receiver. Yep. He's playing wide receiver at Auburn. So what do you think he would have done on the game as a quarterback, having that type of speed? That's one missed opportunity from last year to be able to get that Sam Jackson, Jaden Ott backfield on this game.
Well, here's what. How about this one?
Okay.
You get Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the question. And this is what I know that EA Sports team is thorough. And I know the people who make the game are big college football fans. So they're into this stuff. But, like, is the speed on Avery Johnson going to be accurate? Because if the speed on Avery Johnson is going to be accurate, K-State may be a lot of people's favorite team.
Yeah, I think so. And the video game portion of NCAA, when you compare it to Madden, NCAA always played faster than Madden. So if you've got those two in the backfield, the only way to neutralize them is going to be to go get you got to play with LSU and then just and run with Perkins, take Perkins off the line, run them around in a bunch of space, and just go get Johnson. That's kind of how you're going to have to play it, especially like when people start to, like, video game terms, start cheesing the option when you got fast guys like that. You basically got to have a team where they can start where you have a guy, because I think Perkins has got to be at least a 90, 91 speed on this game. I mean, he's got to be.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, you just reminded me of something, though. If Brian Kelly thought it was bad last year with people criticizing the way that LSU was using Harold Perkins,
oh my God,
imagine now it's going to be like 2 million coaches, 2 million defensive coordinators using Harold Perkins one way, and then real Harold Perkins will be used a different way, and they will go insane.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous. Like, can you imagine the message boards? Like, I love the site Message Board Geniuses where they take like crazy takes from
oh yeah.
message boards. So can you imagine somebody saying, look at these stats from Harold Perkins last year. He had 94 sacks in 10 games. And you mean to tell me he can't get so I think this with and that's the beauty of it. Because now everybody, you get to talk about what you like to do, but now you get to actually do it. And yeah, like you said, I think that's a really interesting point because you're going to create more and more coaches. Some of these coaches will be 8 years old, some of them will be 80, but everybody's going to have their opinion and know what and my system works, right? Everybody's going to say my system works. Run the 4-4.
Well, I think we're and obviously kids been playing Madden. The playbooks are pretty elaborate. Like my kid can ID a cover 2 or a cover 3, whereas if you'd asked me when I was a kid, like even when I was playing football in high school, I didn't give a crap what the secondary was doing. Like it didn't matter to me. This guy in front of me, I got to block him. That's it. But now kids have a more global view of scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. My son, like, so we always talk about when to run crossers, right? And why would you run crossers against zone? And then he'll come back and tell me, well, Dad, it just works right here. You just got to wait till he runs out of his zone and hit him right here. And this guy has the accuracy to throw it here. You just got to have a guy with a strong enough arm. He loves to run crossers with Josh Allen. Me having this conversation with my 10-year-old just shows you where we are. When I was 10 years old, every offense in Little League was wing T or wishbone, 3 downs in a cloud of dust. We threw the ball on 4th down every time when we didn't get enough yards. That's it. So now when you think about how much the game has evolved, especially this portion of it, and not to get off subject, but the amount of training young players go through at this age, you can just go on Instagram and you can go see a bunch of 10-year-olds doing all types of crazy drills, one-hand catches, backpedaling in a very fluid motion, opening up their hips. This is stuff I didn't learn until I got to be 14, 15. So I think now the games, there's a very, very high chance that we may play online and get spanked by somebody who's not even in 5th grade.
And that 5th grader might become the next like big coach when he's 40. Like
absolutely.
That's the craziest part. All right, we got to figure out, will there be any 99 overalls in this game? So like the mid 2000s, there was a run of a lot of 99 overalls. Then they dialed it back. I think Andrew Luck was one of the last 99 overalls when he was at Stanford, but not a lot. Do we think there will be any 99 overalls in this game?
So mine was, I think you got to go with Travis Hunter just because he's going to have, you have to fill out his attributes on offense as well. So even if he's not a 99 corner, he may be, let's say he's a 96 corner and a 92 receiver. What if you look at how many of his attributes that are going to be filled in, because usually when you've got offensive awareness, defensive awareness, you got your catching ability, you got route running ability. A lot of defensive backs aren't going to have route running ability in the 80s. So with with the sheer amount of attributes that you have to kind of set a value for a player like Travis Hunter, I think he's got to be a 99.
I think that's the most likely candidate, and he's on the cover. Like,
oh yeah,
because it's him, Quinn Ewers, and Donovan Edwards. Quinn Ewers is not going to be a 99 overall. Donovan Edwards definitely not going to be a 99 overall. The only other guys I can think of that you might do 99 overall, because you're not going to have everybody complaining. Like if you do another quarterback, if you do a quarterback, everybody's going, why didn't my quarterback get 99 overall? What would you know? Although if you're EA Sports, I think they like that discourse. They like the complaining. But I think if you go 99 overall with any of the guys playing this year, it's going to be alignment. It could be Kelvin Banks, who's Quinn Ewers' left tackle. It could be Will
Right.
Campbell, the left tackle at LSU. Maybe one of the 2D tackles at Michigan, either Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant. The other guy I was thinking of, Dukes, and it's positional versatility that leads me to this, which is why I think he might be the most likely D lineman to get it, is Deion Walker at Kentucky. Because Deion Walker's 350 pounds and can rush off the edge. Like, he can play every position on the D line, which, like you said with Travis Hunter, you have to account for so many different attributes. Well, Deion Walker, you're going to have your typical inside D lineman attributes, but he can do all the edge things that most people want. Now, is he the best edge rusher in the country? No, but he's a legit SEC edge rusher at that size, along with being what he can be up the middle. I think that's the one I would go with if I'm going to pick anybody for a 99 overall.
Yeah, I think, especially if you got stamina off, right?
Yep.
If you play,
exactly.
if you take stamina out of it, he's definitely one of those guys. There's a guy I like at Tennessee. I'm gonna say, and I got him for later on in the show, but James Pierce Jr. I think he has a very, very, very video-like game. Freak of nature when you talk about how he looks athletically, how fast he is, the bend that he gets off, and his motor. I could see that playing into him being almost unblockable in this game. He had 10 sacks last year. I mean, from everything that I've been getting out of Tennessee, they say he's everything that people think he is, and he's filled out a little bit more. Looks like a creative player. So, yeah, I think I would venture to say he's probably the top returning dedicated edge rusher, defensive lineman in the SEC. So I maybe not 99, but I think he could be close.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I remember at their game against Alabama last year, watching him against Caden Proctor. Now, Caden Proctor got much better as the season went on, but James Pierce was just abusing him, and there's nothing he could do. And you watched other Tennessee games where it was the same thing. It's like, you just have to devote so many resources to slowing down James Pierce, and it helps everybody else on that. Now we'll see how the rest. That's a deep defensive line. They feel comfortable rolling, too deep through. Tyler Barron's not there anymore, but they feel comfortable replacing him. So I do think that's a good choice right there, because you're right. He's probably better this year. He very well could be the number one pick in the draft next year. So it's a good one. I can't wait. I just cannot wait to see this, because it's been 11 years. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.